Americans spent over $4 billion last year on kitchen gadgets that should have been illegal. And I'm about to prove it. A pump that scrambles eggs inside the shell. A jar opener bolted permanently into your cabinet like load-bearing infrastructure. A motorized fork that twirls your spaghetti for you. Stay with me, because it gets significantly stupider. Hit that like button or a quesadilla maker will appear in your kitchen overnight, and you'll be legally obligated to use it. Drop your dumbest Amazon purchase in the comments so we can all judge you together and subscribe. Because if this channel dies, the banana slicer wins. We've got 51 inventions ahead, and number 41 is so ridiculous it actually made me angry. 1. Most people assume slicing a banana takes some kind of cursed engineering degree, but Americans somehow disagreed and funded a motorized banana slicer with a tiny spinning blade and a battery compartment. The marketing claimed it solved a kitchen crisis that has not existed since 1850, back when butter knives were already doing the job for absolutely free. Buyers waited for batteries, charged the device, then watched it slice softer than gravity would. Reviews exploded with regret, drawers filled with banana shrapnel, and the only winner was the company laughing all the way to the produce aisle. 2. Imagine paying real money so your morning coffee could sit inside a tiny porcelain toilet on your desk, glowing warm through a USB cable. Americans actually did this by the thousands, while convincing themselves it was ironic and not deeply concerning. The mug warmer toilet kept lattes lukewarm, smelled faintly of melted plastic, and turned every video call into an unspoken confession. Co-workers stared. HR whispered. The device worked technically, yet emotionally it destroyed reputations daily. The internet called it genius, the bathroom called it betrayal, and the coffee inside simply gave up trying. 3. Somewhere in a marketing meeting, a grown adult pitched a kitchen scale that talks to you and nobody stopped him. The product launched, sold thousands, and started complimenting cheese portions in a chirpy voice loud enough for neighbors to hear. Imagine weighing pasta at midnight while a robotic stranger praises your wrist motion. One dinner party reportedly ended after the scale told a guest his serving was generous. The batteries kept dying, the voice kept returning, and somewhere out there a landfill is still receiving compliments about mozzarella. 4. Loyalty is beautiful, except when it comes from a kitchen appliance that only cooks one specific food. The quesadilla press takes up valuable counter space while refusing to acknowledge paninis, grilled cheese, or even a sad reheated tortilla. Its triangular plates were engineered for one mission and one mission only, like a tiny culinary cult member. Owners cook a quesadilla, feel briefly powerful, then stare at the device for the remaining 364 days of the year, wondering why a skillet suddenly feels emotionally abandoned and replaced. 5. Few inventions have caused more elementary school chaos than a butter stick disguised as school glue. The packaging mimicked craft supplies so precisely that kindergartners started spreading Land O'Lakes onto construction paper and eating Elmer's onto their corn. Teachers panicked. Cafeteria monitors investigated. One school district reportedly banned all yellow tubes from arts and crafts entirely. The applicator worked technically, spread butter evenly on toast, and saved 0 seconds compared to a knife, yet single-handedly created a generation that treats glue sticks with permanent suspicion at lunchtime forever onward. 6. Picture standing in your kitchen, hungry, holding a can of tomato soup, while a tiny robot slowly drives itself around the rim like it is auditioning for a NASA mission. The autonomous can opener clamps on, hums confidently, and takes a full 30 seconds to do what a manual twist accomplished in 4. Batteries fail mid-lap, abandoning the lid half-attached and dangling in shame. The future of soup turned out to be slower than the past of soup, and dinner kept getting colder while technology took the scenic route. 7. There exists a quiet psychological war between Americans and their wave sensor paper towel dispensers, and the dispensers are winning. The motion sensor responds maybe 40% of the time, leaving owners flapping their arms at the wall like someone guiding a plane to a gate. The device waits patiently, judges silently, then occasionally dispenses half a square as a peace offering. Touchless was sold as luxury, yet delivered a long, awkward negotiation with plastic every single time someone spilled juice. The kitchen towel hanging beside it watches everything in smug silence. 8. The pancake batter pen promised Pinterest perfect breakfasts and delivered abstract expressionism instead. Parents squeezed out hopeful dinosaurs, unicorns, and cartoon dogs, only to flip the griddle and reveal beige blobs of disappointment. Children cried over their melted creations. One parent reportedly attempted a smiley face that came out looking deeply troubled by world events. The batter spreads unpredictably, the pen clogs constantly, and the artwork always bleeds into one giant pancake puddle. Instagram lies, kitchens suffer, and breakfast became the most emotionally damaging meal of the morning routine. 9. Strawberry hulling was never a crisis, yet someone invented a plastic gadget dedicated entirely to removing the tiny green top. The huller pinches the leaf, twists, and yanks out the stem, along with half the actual fruit, leaving owners convinced they invented inefficiency. It cannot hull raspberries, cannot help blueberries, and offers nothing during off-season. The drawer it occupies could have held a useful tool, yet instead houses a single fruit specialist sitting unemployed for 11 months annually, waiting silently for June while a paring knife 2 inches away keeps doing everything better. 10. Somewhere along the way, gravity offended an inventor, and the vertical hot dog toaster was born in revenge. The device swallows 2 wieners and 2 buns, standing tall like soldiers, then pops them up unevenly with the dignity of a carnival prize. One side toasts, the other steams, and the entire kitchen smells like a bowling alley in July. Owners discovered too late that horizontal cooking had been fine since the dawn of cookouts. The toaster now collects dust on garage shelves nationwide, retired permanently after delivering the most embarrassing wedding gift in marriage history. 11. Combining 2 tools into one sounds smart, until the result performs both jobs worse than either tool alone. The pizza scissor spatula hybrid tries to cut and lift a slice simultaneously, yet ends up dragging cheese, mangling crust, and leaving toppings on the pan like crime scene evidence. The blades dull quickly, the spatula tip bends, and the dishwasher refuses to clean it properly. Owners eventually return to using regular scissors and a regular spatula, 2 heroes who never needed a romantic partnership to deliver pizza successfully to a hungry plate. 12. Few inventions have caused more house fire anxiety than a fabric pouch you willingly slide inside a toaster. The grilled cheese toaster bag promised crispy, cheesy magic without dirty pans, yet conveniently forgot to mention the part where heating elements and bread sleeves are mortal enemies. Owners watch their toasters smoke, melt, and occasionally burst into small, dramatic flames. The bag itself technically worked once or twice before disintegrating, leaving a cheesy residue that toaster repair shops now recognize on site. Insurance companies quietly added a new category for this specific kitchen disaster. 13. Picture cracking open an egg and watching the yolk slowly drip out of a tiny ceramic face's mouth, like the egg itself caught a stomach bug. The face-shaped yolk separator was marketed as cute and ended up looking medically concerning every single morning. Children refused breakfast. Guests lost appetites. One reviewer described the experience as watching a cartoon character throw up in slow motion. Separating yolks takes 2 seconds using the eggshell itself, yet this gadget turned a simple kitchen motion into an unsettling sunrise puppet show with absolutely no encore demanded. 14. 80 real American dollars somehow convinced people to buy a machine that stacks egg, meat, and muffin into one chamber and produces a breakfast sandwich so sad it would get rejected from the McDonald's dollar menu. The device cooks each layer separately, drops them into a tower, and reveals the assembled creation with theatrical pride. The egg comes out rubbery. The muffin steams instead of toasts. The meat tastes confused. Owners realized too late that a frying pan and 90 seconds delivers everything this contraption promised, minus the $80 emotional investment plus regret. 15. A silicone thumb cover sold in the kitchen aisle for wet food tasks has confused every shopper who ever picked it up. The packaging mentions slippery jobs, mysterious applications, and undefined culinary scenarios that nobody on Earth has ever clearly described. Owners brought it home, wore it once while peeling something, then quietly placed it in the junk drawer next to expired batteries. The thumb cover serves no real purpose, yet keeps selling, surviving on pure impulse buying energy. Somewhere a marketing team is laughing while America stares at a rubber thumb in silence. 16. Free-form beef circles were apparently oppressing the nation, so a burger patty press arrived to force every single hamburger into industrial hockey puck symmetry. Owners pack the meat, slam the lid, and produce identical discs that look factory-printed rather than home-cooked. The grill marks come out aligned, the thickness comes out uniform, the personality comes out missing entirely. Backyard cookouts began resembling fast food assembly lines, and one neighbor reportedly cried because his patties no longer looked handmade by his grandfather. Conformity entered the grill, and joy quietly walked out. 17. The pineapple core yanks the entire fruit's insides out in one dramatic spiral. Perfect for a 15-second TikTok, and absolutely useless for daily life. Owners use it once, film themselves grinning, then store the device permanently behind the crock pot they also never use. The blade dulls quickly, the plastic cracks, the empty pineapple shell sits on the counter pretending to be a bowl. Most fruit gets purchased pre-cut at the store anyway, leaving this gadget waiting endlessly for a pineapple that never arrives. Like a forgotten tropical prom date. 18. A clucking chicken timer sounds adorable on the shelf, and absolutely terrifying at 3 in the afternoon when your roast finishes. Owners return the product in massive waves, complaining that the cluck sounded passive-aggressive, judgmental, and occasionally vengeful. One reviewer claimed the chicken seemed disappointed in her cooking. Another swore it clucked louder when guests were watching. The volume cannot be adjusted, the personality cannot be disabled, and the only escape is removing the batteries permanently. The timer kept time perfectly, yet emotionally damaged every kitchen it entered, one judgmental cluck at a time. 19. The spaghetti portion sizer disc looks innocent until owners discover the hole labeled single serving and feel personally attacked by physics. The opening is roughly the width of a pencil, suggesting that one human should survive on 12 strands of pasta and dignity alone. Family portion holes look generous, single holes look hostile, and the disc itself emotionally bullies anyone holding it. Reviewers reported feelings of betrayal, hunger, and existential pasta crisis. Spaghetti was a comfort food until this gadget arrived to measure shame in plastic and quietly ruin Italian dinner nights nationwide forever. 20. Someone looked at the tiny plastic clips that close bread bags and decided those clips deserve their own dedicated storage organizer. A real Kickstarter campaign launched. Real people pledged real money. The product shipped and now sits in kitchens holding 12 identical pieces of plastic with the seriousness of a museum display. Owners label them, sort them, occasionally rearrange them, and pretend this counts as adult life. Bread clips were never a crisis, yet now have housing, structure, and community, while half the country still cannot find their car keys before work. 21. Stabbing an apple onto a metal spike and spinning it violently feels less like cooking, and more like a low-budget horror movie scene. The apple peeler clamps onto the counter, impales the fruit, and rotates it at concerning speed while the blade shaves the skin off in one continuous ribbon. Children watched in silence. Pets left the room. One grandmother reportedly crossed herself before turning the crank. The device works fine technically, yet the entire kitchen feels haunted afterward, and the apple itself comes out looking emotionally violated rather than peacefully prepared for a pie. 22. Selling a tortilla warmer shaped like a sombrero on a major shopping platform with 4.5 stars and zero cultural self-awareness took genuine commitment. The product arrived in homes, sat on counters, and made every taco night quietly uncomfortable for guests who noticed. The lid lifts up, the brim collects crumbs, and the tortillas inside stay warm while everyone at the table pretends not to see it. Reviewers praise the heat retention without acknowledging the costume energy. The sombrero hat never asked for this career change, and authenticity never recovered from the purchase. 23. For people who find chopping motions emotionally taxing, The garlic rocker arrived as a curved blade you simply rock back and forth like a tiny lullaby cradle. Owners place a clove underneath, sway the device gently, and produce minced garlic with the energy of someone meditating. A regular knife accomplishes the same task in 8 seconds, yet the rocker promises serenity. The blade dulls quickly, garlic skins stick everywhere, and cleaning requires more effort than the chopping ever did. Calm entered the kitchen briefly, then left immediately once the dishwasher refused to cooperate again. 24. An adult silicone bib with a crumb-catching pocket sounded like a joke until reviews started calling it life-changing without irony. The product targets snacking in bed, working from couches, and other situations where dignity had already left the building. Crumbs collect in the front pouch like a feeding trough, and owners empty it later directly into the trash. Marketing photos show smiling adults wearing it confidently, while their roommates question every life decision silently. The bib works flawlessly, protects every shirt completely, and personally ends romantic relationships nationwide on first sight, immediately. 25. An LED-illuminated pepper grinder turns ordinary seasoning into a cinematic thriller, starring falling spice particles caught in dramatic lighting. The bulb activates as the grinder spins, casting an amber glow onto the steak below. Like the pepper itself deserves an Oscar nomination. Batteries die constantly. The light flickers mysteriously. One owner reportedly turned off the kitchen lamp entirely to enjoy the full theatrical experience, then realized his food was now invisible. Seasoning requires no spotlight, yet this gadget insists every dinner deserves stage direction, leaving guests slightly impressed and significantly concerned about the host's priorities. 26. Stabbing a pump device directly into a raw, uncracked egg to pre-scramble the yolk from inside the shell crossed every line a kitchen should respect. The in-shell egg scrambler punctures the top, churns the contents through a tiny rotating mechanism, and produces a pre-mixed egg that nobody asked for. Owners crack it open and watch a strange beige liquid pour out, somewhere between scrambled and traumatized. The texture lands wrong. The cleanup lands worse. Eggs had survived millions of years without internal violation, yet this gadget arrived to disturb breakfast permanently at the shell level. 27. A specialty pan dedicated to a bleskuyver, a Danish pancake ball that 97% of buyers had never heard of before purchasing, ranks among the most confident impulse buys in kitchen history. The pan has 7 round indentations meant for batter spheres that require constant rotation using wooden skewers. Owners watched one TikTok, bought the pan immediately, then realized too late they had no idea what a bleskuyver even tasted like. The device now lives in the cabinet behind the bundt mold, both pans waiting silently for a Scandinavian breakfast emergency that will never arrive. 28. Pizzerias have used regular forks to puncture dough since 1905, yet someone decided America needed a spiked roller specifically engineered to dock pizza crust. The pizza dough docker rolls across the surface, leaving perfect little holes meant to prevent bubbling during baking. Owners use it once, marvel briefly, then realize their fork accomplished the same job for free. The spikes collect dough residue. The handle squeaks. The dishwasher hates it deeply. Authentic pizzaiolos in Italy have never owned this device and somehow continue making pizza correctly without spending money on roller technology. 29. Committing to a jar opener that requires 4 permanent screws drilled directly into the underside of your cabinet means signing a lifelong architectural contract with pickles. The device mounts overhead, grips the lid from above, and twists open stubborn jars while owners stand below, feeling vaguely industrial. Moving houses means leaving it behind or filling 4 mystery holes. Renters reportedly lost deposits. One homeowner installed 3 across the kitchen for various jar sizes. The opener works perfectly, yet demands more commitment than most marriages. Also, condiments could surrender without using a rubber grip pad. 30. A counter-mounted French fry cutter that suctions to the kitchen, stabs whole potatoes through a metal grid, and produces uniform sticks generates more dirty dishes than an actual drive-through. Owners press the lever dramatically, listen to the potato scream through the blades, and end up with fries plus 3 bowls. 1 cutting board, 1 greasy counter, and 40 minutes lost. Frozen bag fries cost $3 and require 0 pressing. The cutter promises restaurant magic, delivers cleanup nightmares, and quietly sits suction to the counter, judging every shortcut taken nationwide since. 31. The onion claw holder grips the onion so bare fingers stay safely away. Americans proudly chose this hill to die on. Owners clamp the metal prongs onto the vegetable and slice cautiously beside plastic. Generations of grandmothers chopped onions barehanded without injury. Yet this gadget treats every dinner like a hostage situation. The claw collects onion juice in every crevice. It smells permanently sulfuric after one use. Anyone brave enough to chop normally beside it gets silently guilt-tripped. The drawer it lives in now smells faintly haunted forever. 32. Plastic wrap was apparently too humble for guacamole, so a container with a flat pressing lid arrived. The lid physically squishes the avocado surface to block oxygen. Owners spoon in the dip and press dramatically downward. The edges fill with green slime within seconds. The container stains permanently after 3 uses. Browning still happens despite the engineering claims. A simple sheet of plastic costs pennies and works identically. Yet this gadget demanded shelf space and dishwasher attention. Guacamole had survived parties for decades without anyone losing sleep. 33. A plastic lettuce knife in pastel colors promised to prevent browning on salad greens. It also quietly cannot cut a single tomato. The blade is dull by design and soft by material. Owners bring it home, try it once, then return to a real knife by Tuesday. Lettuce still browns regardless. Tomatoes refuse cooperation entirely. Cucumbers laugh openly at the attempt. The pastel pink version looks adorable in marketing photos. In reality, color coordination clearly ranked higher than function. The drawer now holds a knife that cuts only feelings. 34. Eyeballing olive oil and vinegar has apparently destroyed marriages, so a salad dressing shaker with a built-in ratio guide arrived to save households. The device features painted lines indicating exact measurements. It looks like a chemistry beaker dressed up for dinner. Owners pour, shake dramatically, and produce vinaigrette with surgical precision. The shaker leaks occasionally during shaking. It stains permanently within a month. Cleaning takes longer than the actual dressing prep. Olive oil flowed freely for centuries. This gadget insisted relationships needed measuring lines to survive dinner. 35. Washing dishes turned into a sous vide operation. The faucet attachment water thermometer arrived to handle that. The device clips onto the spout and displays temperature digitally. Owners adjust the tap like a French chef preparing duck confit. Hot water was previously identified by touching it. This gadget insisted precision mattered for rinsing forks. The battery dies constantly mid-wash. The display fogs up under steam. One owner refused to start dishes until it hit exactly 104 degrees. The sink stayed full while science took priority. 36. A battery-powered self-twirling pasta fork spins spaghetti automatically. Owners reconsider every choice that led them to this moment. The motor whirs softly while the fork rotates. Noodles wrap around the tines with mechanical sadness. Children laughed initially at the sight. Adults felt embarrassed within minutes. Dinner parties quietly ended early afterward. The device requires regular charging like a phone. Sauce splatters everywhere during powered rotation. Manual twirling has worked since pasta existed, yet this gadget delivered profound dignity loss with every single spinning bite. 37. Real campfires were apparently asking too much from America, so an indoor electric s'mores maker arrived with a fake plastic flame. The device features a fake fire core in the center. 4 prong sticks surround it like a sad diorama. Owners gather around pretending to be camping inside the kitchen. The chocolate melts unevenly across the marshmallow. The graham crackers stay disappointingly cold. One reviewer compared the experience to watching a screensaver. Nature offered the original version completely free. Electricity insisted on competing badly inside fluorescent kitchens nationwide. 38. The heat-sealing chip bag closer welds Doritos shut like a factory line. Owners run the device along the open edge of the bag. A satisfying hiss follows every seal. Buyers feel briefly powerful about preserving freshness. Chip clips have done this job for decades using zero electricity. The sealer melts the plastic permanently shut. The bag must be cut open again later. The entire purpose collapses on itself instantly. Freshness arrived briefly and left immediately. The gadget keeps buzzing on counters, demanding praise for accomplishing absolutely nothing useful. 39. A countertop nugget ice maker the size of a microwave dominates entire kitchens. Owners buy it for that one chewable sonic pebble ice texture. The device hums constantly throughout the day. It leaks occasionally onto the counter. Ice production runs slower than expected. The freezer 10 feet away makes ice for free. The faucet provides cold water already. Nugget ice fans defend the machine fiercely online. Counters lose half their space overnight. Electricity bills climb mysteriously each month. One specific pebble shape becomes the household personality trait forever. 40. Arm extension turned out to be the final frontier of laziness. So a remote-controlled, motorized Lazy Susan arrived for the dinner table. Owners press a button to spin condiments across the surface. The platform rotates slowly with futuristic dignity. The motor whines audibly during operation. Batteries die mid-spin without warning. One reviewer reported the device stopping halfway through. The salt sat stranded near Grandma for an entire meal. Reaching had worked successfully since dinner tables existed. Yet family meals quietly became spinning circus performances overnight afterward. 41. The watermelon ball scooper produces perfect spheres while the rest of the melon becomes someone's emotional responsibility. Owners scoop out neat little balls for one fancy fruit salad. Then they stare at the destroyed melon afterward. The remaining flesh sits in chunks no recipe wants. Half the fruit ends up in the trash by Sunday. The scooper itself only works on melons. Drawers store it for 11 months waiting for July. One backyard barbecue uses it briefly. Then the gadget retires quietly behind the corn holders forever. 42. Herb scissors with 5 parallel blades arrive to chop chives faster. Instead, they crush them into green mush. Owners snip enthusiastically over their soup bowls. The blades clog after one single use. Cleaning requires a tiny brush sold separately. Regular scissors cost $3 and work perfectly. Yet this gadget claimed 5 blades were better than 1. Chives emerged bruised and weeping. Parsley stuck between the metal layers permanently. The dishwasher refused cooperation entirely. The herb garden outside watched in silent betrayal every time it appeared on counters. 43. A cereal bowl with a separate milk compartment promised to prevent sogginess forever. The invention came from someone who has clearly never been late for work. Owners pour milk on one side and cereal on the other. Then they tilt the bowl carefully with each bite. The choreography requires actual coordination at 7 in the morning. Children spilled everywhere within days. Adults gave up by week 2. Soggy cereal had been a minor inconvenience for a century. Now it became an engineering challenge nobody asked anyone to solve. 44. The bagel guillotine looks dangerous enough to require a permit. The device features a vertical slicing chamber for one specific carb. Owners slide a bagel inside and push down dramatically. The blade descends with theatrical menace. It takes up half a kitchen drawer permanently. A regular knife slices bagels in 2 seconds flat. This gadget needs storage, maintenance, and emotional preparation. One reviewer reported feeling watched by the device at night. Bagels survived breakfast tables for centuries without execution equipment. Now they face the chopping block daily. 45. An automatic cookie dough dispenser drops perfect dough balls onto a tray. It replaces the spoon that hands were doing fine with. Owners fill the chamber and press the trigger repeatedly. Each squeeze produces one identical ball of dough. The device clogs constantly with anything containing chocolate chips. Cleaning takes longer than scooping by hand ever did. Grandmothers laughed openly at the entire concept. Cookies came out shaped like factory products. The charm of homemade vanished instantly. Spoons sat nearby in quiet protest against this betrayal of baking. 46. A taco holder shaped like a tiny lawn chair lets tacos lounge poolside while owners eat dinner. The plastic recliner cradles each taco at an angle. Marketing photos show the chairs glowing under cheerful lighting. Real kitchens stack them in awkward piles instead. The chairs collect taco grease in every corner. Cleaning requires patience nobody possesses. Tacos had stood up just fine since their invention. Now they demand seating arrangements. One reviewer reported buying 12 chairs for family taco night. The drawer they live in lost all dignity afterward. 47. Microwave bacon was a sad concept long before this rack arrived to make it sadder. The plastic frame holds strips suspended over a grease-catching tray. Owners load it carefully like a tiny meat museum exhibit. The microwave fires up and the apartment immediately smells like a truck stop. Bacon emerges chewy where it should be crispy. The grease tray solidifies into a waxy puddle by morning. Scrubbing it out takes longer than cooking actual bacon on a stove would have taken. Pigs everywhere felt insulted. 48. Imagine a wine opener that needs charging like a smartphone. The automatic wine opener hums over the bottle and slowly extracts the cork, while everyone watches awkwardly. Then the batteries die exactly halfway through. The cork hangs there suspended in failure. Guests pretend not to notice while the host hunts for AA replacements in 3 different drawers. By the time the bottle finally opens, the appetizers are cold. Romantic dinners turned into engineering troubleshooting sessions overnight. Somewhere a sommelier collapsed in laughter at the very concept of this device. 49. Donut holes already exist. Every single bakery in America sells them already made. Yet someone invented a donut hole punch press anyway. The contraption slams down on a full donut and pops a circle out the middle. Owners now possess a hollow donut alongside a tiny donut hole orphan. 2 pastries appear from one, both somehow less satisfying than the original. The press collects glaze inside its hinges forever. Cleaning becomes a sticky archaeological dig. Duncan solved this in 1972. The gadget never got the memo. 50. Popcorn lovers swear this silicone collapsible bowl changed their lives. Reality tells a different story entirely. The bowl folds flat for storage, then expands tall for microwaving kernels inside. Butter sinks into the silicone permanently after one batch. Every future popcorn night tastes vaguely like the last one. Owners scrub the walls with dish soap and get nowhere. The bowl smells like a movie theater that gave up. Regular brown paper bags handle this job perfectly, yet the silicone keeps living in cabinets glowing faintly with ancient corn ghosts. 51. There exists a machine that turns regular ketchup into single-serve packets inside your own kitchen. Read that sentence again slowly. Owners pour ketchup from a normal bottle into the machine. Then they press a button. The device manufactures tiny disposable pouches identical to the ones at fast food counters. The plastic gets thrown away after one use. The original bottle sits beside the machine, unused. Garbage cans fill up faster than ever. This is the dumbest possible solution to a problem that nobody on Earth has ever had. And there it is. 51 kitchen inventions so spectacularly dumb that humanity briefly forgot what spoons and knives were for. Motorized banana slicers, sombrero tortilla warmers, ketchup packet machines for your own home. Somehow real people swiped real credit cards for every single one. Smash that like button if your drawer secretly hides at least 3 of these crimes against engineering. Subscribe to Dumb Historical Inventions because the next batch involves haunted cars, exploding toasters, and Victorian gadgets that absolutely tried to kill their owners. Drop a comment telling me which invention was the dumbest, the weirdest, or the one your grandma definitely owned. See you in the next disaster.